We are diving into the hot topic of smartphones by looking at one simple question: how are smartphones affecting today's youth? There are many opinions on this question, and we are investigating which ones are right. Some people say that smartphones are a beneficial device for youth, while others say that smartphones are slowly destroying teens and their generation. To give some insight, we talked with one of today's teens to see what they had to say about it.
Ellie, how do you feel about smartphones? Are they good or bad on society?
I think they're great. For right now, I'm tweeting about this interview, so it's a really good way to get people to understand what you're doing right now. Because I have a lot of followers. You should follow me. Do you follow me?
What's your username?
Oh, it's Ellie_Burgraff.
Pretty cool. How much time would you say you spend on your phone on an average day?
Well, not a lot. I wake up and, I use my phone as an alarm. I feel like that's another good reason, why the phone is just a great invention. But I use it as an alarm and I wake up and I press snooze quite a few times. And then I wake up and then I use it to watch a show as I'm getting ready. Just because, you want to unwind and relax while you're getting ready. And then I go to school, and as I'm going to school, I drive and I listen to music with my aux cord on my phone. I have Apple Music. It's really good. Yeah, it comes with your smartphone, so, well, you have to pay for it, but. And then once I get to school, sometimes there's nothing to do in class, so then sometimes I'll go on my phone. I have this app, it's called Geometry Dash. It's really fun to play, but I'll use that. Or I might use it sometimes for school. And then lunch, I usually just go on it the whole period because, there's nothing really else to do during lunch, and, you want to use your phone. And then I get home, and I usually use my phone and just check all my social media, which is all Ellie_Burgraff, in case you want to follow. And then I just, go on YouTube, and I can spend hours on YouTube, so really not that much time.
There are many positive aspects of smartphones for teens. They can easily communicate with their friends and grow deeper relationships. Teens can also use their phones to increase their education. They can find lessons online to help with confusing problems. The final benefit to smartphones to teens is entertainment. They are able to watch movies, play games, and listen to music when and wherever they want.
Okay, on an average day, how many hours do you think you spend on your phone?
Hang on. I'm just gonna use my calculator. Let's see. Well, on a school day, I would say about 16 hours.
16 hours?
Yes, well, it would be more because I love my phone, but I have to sleep on school days, so that kind of, And then on the weekend, I would say maybe 23 hours out of 24. It all
So
depends.
when do you sleep?
Well, honestly, you don't really need to sleep when you have this. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
It's just such a great device that I don't really have time for sleeping because all I have time for is, my social media. I'm only on level 9 on Geometry Dash. I have to get farther,
Okay, thank you. Do you feel that you're addicted to your phone at all?
What? Guys, you just asked me such a good question. Look it, I'm live streaming.
Oh, well, I have a question. Do you feel like you're addicted to your phone?
Addicted? Hang on. No, I'm not.
So back to the original question, would you say you're addicted to your phone?
I like to think of my phone as kind of like an extra appendage. So, you wouldn't say oh, I'm addicted to my arm. No. So, no, I'm not.
Not even the slightest bit?
The negative aspect of smartphone comes in when teens take it to an extreme level. Since the human brain does not fully develop until mid to early 20s, teens don't always make the right or most responsible decisions. This coupled with the fact that when teens are using smartphones, the chemical dopamine is released, which tells the teens that smartphones is good, creates an addiction. Ellie did not feel as though she was addicted, but based on the fact that she spent 16 hours on her phone some days, tells me she is. According to a study conducted by Common Sense Media, the average teen spends 9 hours per day on their phone. While this is significantly less than Ellie, it's still a huge number.
How do you communicate with your friends? Do you socialize on social media or do you interact in the community?
Okay, I communicate a lot of different ways with my friends. So, first of all, we have GroupMe. That's a good app for communicating. You can have like huge group messages, so it's really fun. And then, let me see here. Oh, Bitmoji. That's a fun one. You kind of like make your own little cartoon version of yourself. It's really fun for communicating with friends. And then, of course, Snapchat. I don't really use messaging that much because it's just kind of, it's kind of old, There's better ways to communicate these days on the iPhone, so yeah.
Yeah.
kinda
How often
why-
do you hang out with friends outside of
Well,
the phone in school?
we group FaceTime a lot.
So nothing else?
I don't know what else there would be though.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming out today.
Yep, you're welcome.
Smartphones were created in order to increase communication, but now they're having the opposite effect. According to Our Smartphones Are Showing a Generation, teenagers are spending significantly less time with their friends in person and more time online. From 2000 to 2015, there were 40% decrease in teens hanging out with their friends every day. For the past generations, including the baby boomers and Generation Xers, 85% of teenagers went out on dates. For teenagers of 2015, only 65% went on dates.
Do you think that phones are a positive or negative influence on society?
Yeah, I think when it comes to phones, I think it's or anything really. I think it's dangerous to look at it as good or bad. I think it just kind of is, and it's definitely the way society's going. And I think it's about, for me, trying to get kids not only to tell them not to do something, but realize why they're making the choices that they're making and whether they're good choices for them or not. So I would not want to, put myself in a position to say phones are good or bad. They just are. And how can we acknowledge the fact that this is the way that the future is going to be, and how can we better prepare kids to use that as a good quality resource?
Teens are becoming addicted and it's affecting their school performances. Adrian Ward from the University of Texas has taken a special interest in smartphones in education. He conducted various tests on this and got shocking results. In the studies, Ward had 3 rooms of students. One room had their phones right next to them. The other room had their phones right in their bag, and in the third room, the phones were locked away in another room. After getting the results from the testing, Warden says, "We see a linear trend that suggests that as the smartphone becomes more noticeable, participants' available cognitive capacity decreases. This means that the students in the room with no smartphones outperform the students in the room with their smartphones face down on their desks." Ward continues on to explain why this is even an issue if the phones were face down. Your conscious mind isn't thinking about your smartphone, but the process of requiring yourself not to think about something uses up some of your cognitive abilities. It's a brain drain. When smartphones are around us during other important tasks, the phone take us a lot of valuable mental capacity that we could otherwise use for that project. Some schools have tried to remedy this problem by implementing a no-phone policy. A teacher at Big Lake Middle School says that she loves this new policy. "It has been a great benefit just after 1 month. I no longer have to use my class time to discipline kids for having their phones, and I don't have to worry about them being distracted by the devices."
So after all of this, how are smartphones affecting today's youth? After hearing about the various facts and statistics, we have reached a conclusion. Adrian Ward's test showed learning decreases when phones are around. Common Sense Media found that teens spend over 1/3 of their day on these phones, which causes a great addiction. Finally, this addiction is causing teens to communicate differently and spend less in-person time with their friends. Smartphones are affecting teens in a negative way. They are making teens addicted, lazy, and antisocial. They are even negatively impacting their education. So what can be done about this? Your guess is as good as ours, since nobody has found a definite solution. Here at Tech Talk, we feel that the answer is balance. There's a famous quote, "Everything in moderation," and that should be applied to smartphones as well. Thank you for watching, and please use smartphones with a balance.